I'm not much of a Superman fan, and I don't know many people who are, and there are a lot of reasons for that. I won't go too deep into them, but typically speaking, people don't like Superman because they feel like he's overpowered. People feel like Superman rarely has any kind of complexity or depth to him. People feel like he's uninteresting, and so for that reason, people prefer Batman, Spider-Man, other characters that have more tangible earthly struggles. But for whatever reason, I just found myself thinking about Superman and the fact that his arch nemesis is Lex Luthor, who is just a billionaire. He's just a rich guy. Lex Luthor, of course, is a genius. He's a super genius. He's super smart, and he can build suits of armor, and he can get alien rocks and whatever else. But as I was thinking about it, part of me found it kind of strange that it's literally just like this earthly alien versus a billionaire. Like, it's just an odd pairing. But then I found that the pairing of Lex Luthor and Superman made more sense to me whenever I thought about money as power. And this is an idea that shows up in the Black Monday Murders, which is my favorite comic series that was never freaking finished, which is a great shame. I still get sad about it from time to time because the Black Monday Murders, the first 8 issues are so freaking good, but I'm getting off topic. So in that comic, basically there's this entire idea that money equals power. In that comic, the idea is that money is a form of crystallized power. And really, I think that's true. I think that you see in the real world all the time, people with money are more powerful than those without. People with money have access to things that those who are poor do not have access to. In the real world, as things currently are, billionaires control the world, and it's their sandbox, and they can get away with crimes and felonies and no one gives a crap. But as I was thinking about Lex Luthor versus Superman, that dynamic makes a lot more sense to me whenever I envision money as power. Because in that sense, both Superman and Lex Luthor are super powerful. Superman has a crap ton of abilities. He has heat vision, he can fly, he has super strength, he can jump really far, he can breathe in space. He has a fortress of solitude, he has a dog. That's not a power. But he has cool breath, and his skin cannot be pierced by anything except kryptonite. His only weaknesses are kryptonite and magic, and he can't see through lead for some reason. And that's another power. He has x-ray vision, and also he's just a great guy, and he's super nice and kind and loving. And so Superman is this supremely powerful being, and he's oftentimes depicted as being sort of a god. And then his arch nemesis, of course, is Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor's reasons for hating Superman are complicated and varied depending on which writer is writing the characters. Oftentimes, though, I think Lex Luthor is depicted as being jealous of Superman. He wants a lot of the things that Superman has, like love and adoration. And really, Lex Luthor is just prideful, and he looks down upon people, and he's just a jerk. But still, Lex Luthor is super powerful. As I mentioned, he can build these suits of armor like Iron Man. He can obtain all the kryptonite he wants. He's super rich. He has his own corporation. He has all these people who work under him, and he uses body doubles in case there's any harm that could potentially befall him. And of course, if being a billionaire in the DC universe is anything like what it's like in the real world, then that means that Lex Luthor can be convicted of felonies, and he can wipe that all away. He can control people's thoughts and opinions of himself and others through the media. If he doesn't like someone, he can just buy them off. And really, his money acts as a sort of shield for him. And so when you present it that way, Lex Luthor's power comes not from some alien strength, but rather just from the earthly strength of having a lot of money. And so I found myself thinking about that. I found myself thinking about Lex Luthor's power of money within the context of Superman's powers. And of course, as Uncle Ben once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's kind of the idea behind Spider-Man. If you're able to help people, then it is your responsibility to help them. And so Superman, I think, is an example of a character who has the moral imperative to make the world a better place. And the same goes for his arch nemesis, Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is a billionaire. But he spends all his freaking money on trying to kill Superman. If he wanted to, Lex Luthor could eliminate a lot of the world's problems. Even without his super genius or the things he's built up or the freaking alliances and allegiances that he's made with other planets. Even without his alien connections, Lex Luthor still has billions of dollars, and he could use those billions of dollars to make the world a better place. And in the same way that I think Superman has the responsibility to use his powers to make the world a better place, I think Lex Luthor also has the responsibility of using his power, money, to make the world a better place. And so this is where we come back to the real world, and we talk about billionaires in the real world. I don't think most people like billionaires, and I think it's for good reason. I think that people don't like billionaires for the exact reasons that I'm describing, which is they have all this money that they could use to make the world a better place, but they choose not to. Elon Musk is an example of this. He is the richest man in the world. He's the richest man that has ever lived, period. But what does he do? He chooses to engage in Twitter arguments. Despite having all the money that someone could possibly want, he still wants more. That's why he lays off his employees, and that's why he's trying to bring immigrants into the country so that way he can hire them at lower rates, blah, blah, blah. And typically speaking, whenever someone says that Elon Musk can spend more money on good things. He can spend money on helping people. Usually there's always someone who goes, oh, most of his money is wrapped up in stocks, so he can't actually do all that much. The $200 billion of his wealth is actually wrapped up, a lot of it is wrapped up in stocks, and so he can't sell it or else his net worth will go down, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I understand how the stock market works, but still, the point still stands. I don't care if he has $200 billion or if he has $2 billion. The fact of the matter is that he could be doing something more to help people than he is currently. Same goes for Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos could be doing more to help people. The people in Amazon warehouses could be getting a fair wage. And regardless of that, Jeff Bezos could build housing for the poor. He could directly fund soup kitchens. He could build schools and colleges, and he could help pay for people's educations. And he's not required to. It's his money. He doesn't have to do any of this. But what I am arguing is that he should want to do it. This all goes back to the idea that with great power comes great responsibility. Basically, if you have the ability to help other people, if you have the power within you to do something for your fellow man, I think that you are required morally to do it. And this extends past billionaires. This extends to everyone. I think that if you have the ability to do good, I think if you have the ability to help your fellow man, then you should do it. And I would argue that even if you're not a billionaire, even if you have no money, there are still things that you can do to help people. Even if you don't have great power, I think that you still have it within you. I think you still have the ability to make the lives of those around you and the lives of your loved ones, you can make their lives better. There's a line from the Brothers Karamazov that I think about a lot. I think it's from chapter 3 of book 6. Basically, you have Father Zosima, who was this elder, this monk. And it's been a minute since I read it, but I believe at this section of the book, Elder Zosima has either died or is dying, and these are basically his final words. He says, "There is only one salvation for you. Take yourself up and make yourself responsible for all the sins of men. For indeed it is so, my friend, and the moment you make yourself sincerely responsible for everything and everyone, you will see at once that it is really so. That it is you who are guilty on behalf of all and for all." And the next page over, whenever he's talking about the idea of judging your fellow man, he says, "For if I myself were righteous, perhaps there would be no criminal standing before me now." And so basically Father Zosima's entire idea in this book is that you are responsible for shaping the world. No one watching this is Superman, no one watching this is an alien with great godlike powers. And I would wager that most of the people watching this are not like Lex Luthor. Most people are not billionaires. Most people watching this probably have problems, money issues, relationship problems, just anything that life throws at you. Most people have problems, period. But still, in spite of all that, I think that we all have the responsibility of shaping the world and making it a better place. I think that doing as Father Zosima says is a difficult thing. Trying to take on responsibility for your situation, that's hard. Trying to look around you at all the suffering and pain and trying to do your part in helping to alleviate it, that's hard. But I think that just as with great power comes great responsibility, with some power, which we all have, I think with some power comes some responsibility. I think we all have the moral imperative of doing our best to shape the world in a positive manner. That extends to billionaires with their billions and billions and billions of dollars that they could be using to shape the world and make it better for people. And that also extends to you and me. And you might be saying, well, Noah, but billionaires aren't going to do that. Billionaires aren't going to listen. And to that, I have two things to say. The first is that you cannot control the actions of others. You can only control your own actions and the actions of yourself. You have the responsibility of taking care of those around you and taking care of your situation as it currently is. If you don't have access to billions and billions and billions of dollars, that's not your responsibility. Don't let corrupt billionaires affect how you act in your current moment. Don't let their bad examples influence you for the worse. Superman isn't perfect, but he still tries. So be more like Superman than Lex Luthor. And the second thing I would say in response to the concern that billionaires aren't doing good for the world, the second thing I would say is this. Dostoevsky was a Russian writer, but on the topic of billionaires, I do have to wonder what French writers would say. So, thank you for watching, have a nice night, and goodbye.